Morning, guys! Our body needs many different things to function the way we want it to. But the most important thing is energy. Energy keeps everything going. We absorb energy from our food, but the energy from our food has to somehow find its way into our body. We'll show you just how the digestive system works and what the different steps are. All organs used to digest are collectively called the gastrointestinal tract. The gastrointestinal tract is actually just a direct path from your mouth to your butt, and it all starts in your mouth. Digestion starts as soon as you begin shoveling food into your mouth and chewing. The first step of digestion is ingestion, or food consumption, or simply put, munching. Chewing food with your teeth is the mechanical part of the digestive process. The enzyme known as amylase is found in your saliva. It helps break down the starch or glycogen in your food into a double sugar known as maltose. By the way, saliva doesn't come from just one salivary gland, but from three: the parotid gland, the sublingual gland, and the submandibular gland. However, the breakdown process is brought on by chewing, and saliva is not nearly enough to extract the nutrients from your food. That's why your tongue has to help you swallow all of this mush, or bolus. When you swallow, your larynx lifts up and your epiglottis flops down over your windpipe. The bolus then makes its way into your stomach by traveling down your esophagus. Swallowing is still an actively controllable movement, but as soon as the bolus reaches the esophagus, it's pushed down by the rhythmic contraction of the smooth esophageal sphincter muscles. This contraction of the esophageal tube is also known as peristalsis. This technique is actually in charge of transporting the food from organ to organ throughout the entire digestive process. Simply put, the esophageal muscles squeeze the bolus towards the stomach. If you're thinking, what the heck, we've only gotten to the stomach and I don't get anything? Don't worry, you'll have it all figured out once you've completed videos to this topic. Chemical digestion starts once the food has reached the stomach. Like all other organs of the gastrointestinal tract, the stomach is a hollow organ. Thick mucosal folds line the stomach to allow expansion. There are many glands in the gastric mucus. They can be categorized into three subtypes. The cardiac glands secrete hydrochloric acid to break down your food into even smaller molecules. The fundic glands secrete pepsinogens. Hydrochloric acid converts pepsinogens into an enzyme called pepsin, which breaks down the proteins in our food into protein fractions known as peptides. The last glands are the pyloric glands. They produce mucus which prevents the stomach from digesting itself due to hydrochloric acid. The pH value of the stomach is so low that the gastric acid would otherwise attack and burn our unprotected mucus. After 1 to 5 hours, the contents of the stomach travel through the pylorus to the first segment of the small intestine. The first segment is also called the duodenum. This is where the gut absorbs digestive enzymes released by the pancreas. This stage of digestion is called enzymatic digestion, seeing as the enzymes do the most work here. These digestive enzymes are primarily responsible for breaking down fats, carbohydrates, and proteins into even smaller units. Fats are broken down by lipases. Glycosidases are in charge of breaking down carbohydrates, and peptidases break down proteins. Bile from the gallbladder now joins in so the fats can mix with the gut juices. Bile is a greenish, yellowy-brown liquid which acts as an emulsifier. During this process, sodium bicarbonate is released to neutralize the gastric acid. Sodium bicarbonate is secreted from the pancreas along with the enzymes. However, bile is also a base solution, and the duodenum also releases a base secretion. The next segments of the small intestine are known as the jejunum and the ileum. The small intestine is actually thinner than the large intestine. Who would have thought? To make up for this, the small intestine is considerably longer than the large intestine, measuring 10 to 20 feet. The large intestine is only approximately 5 feet long. But back to the digestive system. While chilling in the small intestine, food is continuously broken down into smaller particles. This requires the help of additional digestive enzymes. During this stage, the small intestine not only absorbs the important nutrients, but also a ton of water. This is what we call reabsorption of nutrients and water. The surface of the small intestine is particularly large and has a lot of folds, which makes sure that this process is effortless. Nutrition absorption starts with nutrient molecules passing through the wall of the intestine. How this happens depends on the substance. Either active or passive transport can be used. After this, most nutrients travel directly into the bloodstream, which then distributes nutrients throughout the entire body. Fats travel into the lymphatic system and are then distributed in the body. Finally, the body can use the energy created by the sugar molecules, amino acids, and fats. Even though that's the whole aim of the digestive process, it isn't done yet. Everything that wasn't broken down by enzymes and absorbed in the small intestine ends up in the large intestine. Like the small intestine, the large intestine consists of several parts. There's the appendix, formerly known as the vermiform appendix. By the way, the appendix is the little shit that can hurt like a mother when infected, at which point it needs to be surgically removed. Then there's the colon, which can be divided into several sections, and the hindgut. The hindgut can be divided into the rectum and the anal canal. The large intestine removes the remaining water and electrolytes from the leftover chyme. There are still loads of bacteria that sit in the intestine and help break down dietary fiber, as well as fight off harmful bacteria. The remaining indigestible waste turns into… that's right, poop. What we call shit can also be referred to as excrement or feces. Pooping can also be called bowel movement, defecation, or egestion. That's really all there is to the digestive system. So everything you snack on first travels approximately 20 feet through your body before landing in the shitter. Let's keep this all short and sweet. Digestion can be categorized into 3 major segments: mechanical, chemical, and enzymatic digestion. Mechanical digestion starts in your mouth as soon as you begin chewing. It then moves into your stomach via your esophagus, where chemical digestion takes place. Gastric acid breaks down the bolus into slightly smaller molecules. Hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen particularly help during this process. To make sure that the acid doesn't cause the stomach to self-digest, the pyloric glands produce a protective mucus. Enzymatic digestion takes place in the small intestine. Water and nutrients are absorbed from the bolus at this point. The main aim of digestion is achieved once the bolus passes through the small intestine. The blood or lymphatic system transport nutrients through the body, providing cells with energy. The large intestine absorbs water, and bacteria help to reabsorb the remaining nutrients. Once all this has happened, we can take a dump. That's all there is to digestion, folks.